Right, we're back up. We're finally going to do the Rate Your Physiques. So, is that what we're going to start with?
Yeah,
Should we pick up with some Rate Your Physiques, eh? That's what everybody wants to see.
Did it even try to see if I can make it work or not?
Yeah, see if it works. And then we've got questions.
Or should we start with maybe saying, how are you? How are we doing, guys? Good,
Yeah, how is everybody?
Yeah.
I've had people looking around my house today, which has been a ball ache. I had to tidy everything and put everything in shit away.
What, selling?
Yeah, for selling it.
We've had the same warehouse in Bristol. We've had 5 years in since Saturday.
Fucking ball ache. I'm going to show them around.
Oh, we can see it now, yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Right, this is Ben Moore.
On a level though, before we start rating his physique, did any of you ever watch Recess as a kid, the cartoon?
I think so.
Tell me that isn't Gus P. Griswold on steroids.
It is.
The most jacked version.
Can you zoom that picture in, Riz?
Just zoom in, Riz, on that. There you go.
There we go.
Nice.
You boys can go. I'm his good pal and I see him all the time, so I think he'd throw your feedback over mine.
Is that so? So has he given us any context? Is that like
this was when he was this was just before his last show, I believe. And I think he was around, I don't know, 25 maybe. I don't think so. I can't remember.
I think this is a strong shot from the rear. Everything looks pretty balanced to me. I think as a bodybuilder, you need more tissue everywhere, but I like this shot.
But we've got to be very, very critical here, Lee, because this is a Rate Your Physique.
Well, I am being critical then. You need more muscle everywhere, but there isn't a particular bit, maybe some extra lower back thickness, but I don't see it.
I think we could do with a bit more arm.
Anybody else?
See, I actually think compared to like you said, Hilly, like he's balanced, right? I'd say his arms are his strong part. At least the way he presents it here, like the arms is kind of what stands out.
No,
I think you go on, Riz.
I think his upper back's really good. I think his lats are good. They can obviously be thicker.
He needs to rotate them arms like out, like the wrists. So like you see how his wrists are like in. So he almost like flattens that peak.
There's definitely a bit of a hole or a weakness in the lat. See under the rear delt and where the teres minor and major are.
Yeah. I'll tell you exactly what that is. So if you see where his erectors are.
Yeah.
The density of his erectors comparable to his lats are a massive problem. And I know this because the kid's fucking autistic as hell about pulling from the floor and he loves doing it.
Yeah.
And I've had this conversation with him. And I think what Hilly's mentioned is, I think if he didn't have such dominant erectors, I think his back would flow much better, believe it or not. Because I think what you would have is that sweep in from the lat and you wouldn't get that density at the bottom. But I think ultimately he needs to bring that rhomboid trap area up because you can see the density in his rear delt. You can see the density there in his lower erectors. But that rhomboid to trap area is the bit that's kind of more 2D.
And there's definitely needs more of a lat there. Like you say, the erectors are dead thick. The rear delt, the delts are huge, and that rear delt treating down. And you can't really see any teres minor or major. And I can't tell if it's because the wall's grey, but there's definitely, it comes up and then across. It needs a real lat focus, doesn't it? Fill that hole.
Yeah. But this was such a... I'm biased because I know how much of an improved look this was, especially like his lower from the rear. This is like, it looks like 4 years improvements. Like he's made massive leaps forward, training properly now and that sort of stuff. So it's all good. He needs more muscle overall. And I think he's in the classic way. I'd like to see him push towards open personally and just get fucking huge because pictures don't do Ben justice. He's a big kid.
He's a big kid. He's got a big structure. And it's a pretty well balanced shot. And there's a shit ton of thickness through the arms, the delta, the traps. Like you say, that hole filled in and everything a bit bigger, and it would be an open shot. It wouldn't be a classic shot for me. It would be a bodybuilder look, wouldn't it? Yeah.
The thing is, his back double's really good, and most people's back doubles are wank.
Yeah, that's it. Is it? Yeah.
It needs more lat.
Yeah. And there's he definitely needs to go and see a chiropractor or a sports therapist about that right side. So see here, see how you can see way more of the left lat than the right lat. If you go back to that rear double there is, right? See how so look at the shading against the wall. Look at the left lat. See how it dips under the rear delt and comes out. Look to the right. There's nothing there.
I think he mentions this a fair bit as well to me.
There's something off, and there's either something stuck in his scapula to his lat that's stopping it connecting, something in the arm, or there's an issue there because there's a sweep that's missing, and you can see it.
If you look at his left whole shoulder in the back double, it's got striations through every part. The delt, the side delt, the front delt, and then if you look to the right side, it's just
that could be the light in there. But no, I think you might be right, Riz. I think there is more detail on the left than the right. Yeah.
There's more detail, but the size is the same shoulder. There's a hole missing in that right lat, and that's an injury. Or there's something that's not, and I only know because my left one's the same. And again, you can see it. See how much that left pops out.
Yeah.
But he's also got his left hand higher than his right.
Yeah.
Which
this is a really good shot for him, but it fucking kills me how he has his feet in this shot.
Yeah, they're too close together.
Like and they're straightforward. The only way you can do that is if you have gigantic quads, like Ronnie Coleman-esque quads.
But bro, the issue is if he puts his feet wider, how you lot are saying, he then loses the adductor thickness because it's going to look very gappy.
See, I find the opposite with that. I feel like I can, if I put my feet out, if that makes sense, I can put the weight through my heels on my adductors. I can pop them in.
Yeah, I'm the same, but what I'm saying is if he goes wider and he's tall, like if you actually look, he's actually what do you call it? Someone who's he's not torso dominant. His legs are tall, is longer.
Yeah. He is tall. He's very tall, but he's got a torso dominant physique. He's got a lot of muscle in his torso. It's his limbs that lack comparable to everything else. His chest, you can't see it here. He's fucking gigantic. When he hits a side chest, it's a legitimate shelf.
Oh,
I just think for me, having your feet that close, it looks like you're a bit of like a Bambi on ice. It just throws off the flow of the look and I'm not talking as wide as the shoulders, but even just an inch or two either way, I think would enhance the look of that pose.
I think just one foot being slightly in front and the back foot a little bit bent, you would have just looked a lot better. Because you could squeeze your leg quads together from the back and the front.
Man like Nat.
Man like nail polish. Yeah.
What is his name?
Nat.
That's not his real name. What's his real name?
It's Nate, isn't it?
Oh,
Nathaniel, isn't it? That's
Nathaniel.
Okay,
That's what like it's short for Nat.
And is this recent as of like now?
I think so, yeah. Cause he also followed up with some natty photos, natural lighting photos as well, but I just picked the first ones he sent.
Yeah. I'm a mega fan of his physique. I think it's fucking great.
I think he's wicked.
Yeah.
Love his physique.
Yeah. He's not lacking anything. It flows nice. The waist looks small. It's got the thickness intensity to it with a pretty sort of flow for me. It is bodybuilding.
He's also a big kid. He's also a big lad as well, which obviously is thrown off in photos. I don't think you see as much.
I think for a little bit of context, because the thing that stands out to me is when you see him stood next to Dan, right? Because we all know how fucking big Dan is, right? So that's kind of what I think stands out to me, right? If you look at this shot here,
right, Dan's good shots.
I think that's kind of makes it so much more impressive.
Yeah.
Mind you, Nat's like only young. Nat's he must be like 25, I think.
Yeah, 25, 26.
Yeah, mental.
And everything's so balanced as well. There's no, I mean, obviously we've only got front and back shots, but there's nothing where the quad sweep comes out of the same, where the deltoid is and everything. Look at the size of the legs and the hams and the glutes from the back. If anything, the back needs more, but you know,
I think he knows that as well. I think that's one of his areas to bring up. But his physique looks really clean and unabused as well. Like if you flip back to that front shot, Riz, like the detail through his quads and that just all looks very fresh.
Yeah,
but I think his physique's pretty bulletproof, to be honest.
Did he win an overall when he did a show?
He won the juniors. He beat Kaya, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
If you go back to the rear lat, if he wasn't hitting that fucking rear lat with that awful fucking,
I hate it. It's so bad.
His back would look. Well, 9 times out of 10, when someone does a normal lat spread, the back looks. I bet I would put money on it. He's losing an inch either side I haven't. That's a stupid hand position.
It doesn't make sense because you're rolling your delts forward, like you're pulling yourself in. You're not popping out. It's so ridiculous.
I think the only people that need to do it right is someone that's got a wide waist from the back, and they're really trying to hide us, like hide a wide waist. Delves the fist in it.
Like John Jewett. John Jewett doesn't have the smallest waist, and he hits his really well.
John Jewett fucking created it, and that's why he did to hide. But what bewilders me is you then see people with tiny waists doing a pose that takes away from the lat spread to hide something they haven't fucking got.
Yeah.
I think the issue is when people, not me knocking him, when you've got a slightly weaker back that's not as good as other body parts, and the best way to hide a bad back is just modifying your back lat spread.
Yeah.
You'll know that a back lat spread hides a lot of very shit backs.
Fact.
Yeah, you see so many people do a back double, wank.
Mad lat spread. I'm one of those people.
I've got a wank back double.
Crazy lat spread.
Yeah.
Next.
Very balanced though. Great calves. I'm always jealous of people with good calves.
And the way he trains and him and Dan have it set up, he'll be a pro in a couple of years because he's just fucking.
He reminds me a bit of Sam Corio, that guy.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Very similar. Even like the development of his back that's required as well. It just looks very similar.
I think Sam structurally is a bit more.
It's a bit more exaggerated as well in the terms of the small waist. But I also think if Nat moved his hands down an inch and put it more on the hip bone, that would make that waist look even smaller.
Yeah. And his lats would probably look better as well.
It's like, and it would exaggerate that already fucking wicked V-tape he's going on, which is what that Sam does very well indeed.
This lighting here is shit as well.
Yeah.
This is a lad from our gym called Cameron.
I think he's got a good physique.
Cam's got a great physique.
And also, he trains like a fucking dog. Like, one of those kids just got his hat on, hood up every day, Birkenstocks on. He's just trained like a monster. He's strong as shit as well.
If you
fucking the calves on him as well.
Look at the fucking legs and everything.
If you cover up his beard,
Curtis is his name, not Cam. Curtis O'Keefe.
Curtis.
Look at him from just there. He looks a bit like a young Rob Taylor. Look.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He looks like Rob Taylor's son, but he's a bit older.
Yeah, it does.
He does.
It's not far off.
In that picture, in that picture again, that's the mega physique for me.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's probably more because he's pale, but it could look like you could maybe do with some more attention to the arms to balance out the fact that everything else is so super impressive. But that could be lighting as well. But for me, that's a very, very good look, I think.
I think he's got a good physique.
Yeah.
He looks really young, Deck.
He is, and he's strong. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he's got like a 5-plate squat on him on a Smith. He pulls hard from the floor. Like he's just one of those people that just goes in and gets after it, don't cause any trouble.
What that there is
like someone that like squats. You know what I mean? Like these squats, you can tell like the quads of someone that squats, if that makes sense.
What you can tell by that is there is an immense amount of potential in that physique.
100%.
Yeah. It looks nice as well. Like the lats flare wide, the delts are peaked, a little more chest. But even the way his little vacuum works with his quads, it's spot on. If you amplify that a little bit more,
that's about as good as a frontable biceps ever going to fucking look on someone. That's for sure.
Yeah, and your chest ain't gonna look the best when you're young, in a front double.
And also, that lighting in that room is not flattering for anyone.
No, that's what I mean. You can tell it fucking sucks.
But his back needs work.
Is that like? Why do gyms have a posing room?
It's dog shit.
And the lighting shit. It's like, what? That defeats the purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
The posing rooms around my area are sick, bro.
Bruh, there's a room there's a place by Riz's house. You go there, you look like Mr. Olympia.
We've all been there. It's a great place.
We actually left one gym and went to that gym to pose. Is that good?
Yeah, we went from one gym to another gym just to pose in there.
Yo, listen, that lighting in there, Hilly's, but do the check-ins in there. I'd be like, mate, fuck off. I look massive.
What's that gym called, Riz?
Platinum Gym.
Platinum Gym, boys, for your check-in photos.
Platinum Gym for your Instagram content. That's where you need to be for your fucking pictures.
He's got the lighting perfect there, yeah?
Bang on.
He's got 3 lights, 1, 2, 3. You can control each one.
Yeah.
And get it just right.
And the walls are pitch black dark.
Going back to this one, I think he needs a lot more back.
A lot more back thickness and width.
I think as well, if he brings those arms down a little bit,
it would look better.
It would look better.
Yeah, but then again, I think a back's a hard one, bro, because my back double, I don't do it all year, yeah? I don't do it in a single check-in because it looks shit, but I do it in prep because I'm
When you're peeled, yeah, it looks, that's where it comes in.
That's the case for most people's back. I mean, my back double's a really poor shot anyway, but mine looks horrendous until about 3 or 4 weeks out, and then it's acceptable.
Yeah.
It's never a great shot for me, but right the way through any prep, I can't even fucking look at the picture. And then I get to 3 or 4 weeks out, and I'm like, that's all right.
Yeah.
I can deal with that because my rear lat's such a strong shot. You know, you can't have both, so I'll be all right with that.
And I think it's when the waist tightens up, isn't it? When the waist really comes in, that's when it all pops off of the back.
I think you've got to have Dan Bastic style muscle and that sort of level when a rear double starts to look impressive. Do you know what I mean?
I sent that picture in today. Like, he looks fucking retarded, mate. The way he hits it is perfect as well. The way he like tucks his elbows in and pops his lats out, it looks fucking nuts. It's very impressive.
Dan Bastic's back double is nasty. Nasty shot.
But this
is actually retarded because he's like, oh, my rear relax doesn't look good. And he's like, what were you fucking looking at, mate?
I know.
This kid, everything looks nice. It just needs more. If he's bang serious, then he wants a little bit more attention on his rear shots from that. Well, particularly that.
And he is bang serious, which is why we would have sent him. But like I said, I think this is a young physique. He's got plenty of time. Just from my opinion, because I watch him train, he just needs to keep doing what he's doing and just stop fucking running stupid high DHTs and run a man cycle and get massive.
Yeah, take a man cycle.
EQ and test, bro.
Bro, just get your guy taken out before it even happens. Okay?
Just get the gland out.
This is a big boy, you know.
He sent me these shots actually as well.
He's a big fucking unit.
I'm glad you know. I've lost him.
Look at the fucking legs, bro.
Yeah, man's fucking huge.
What's his name, boys?
Sam.
Fuck me, he's 262 pound at 5'9".
Yeah, everything looks balanced. Well, I think that back would probably look a lot better if the lighting was on it. We're losing the detail through the lighting, aren't we?
Yeah, look at the state of his hamstrings in that rear shot.
That's exactly that. And you can't have hamstrings like that without the back being a match, can you really?
Yeah.
When you're
the size of his arms. Look at the arms.
Yeah.
That would look nuts when it was fucking all the way down in there.
Yeah, when he's peeled, he's got all the muscle there.
Yeah.
This guy
really he was up against, that's how I met him. So I met him at a PCA show. That's years back. We're going back like, I don't know, 2021. He was competing up against one of my clients. I can't remember who it was now. And that's how I met him. And at the time, like, he was a lot smaller. So he's put on a shit ton of size since.
He's a unit, bro.
That's not a sloppy 260 either. Like that's not a terrible 260. That'll come down nice.
That for me at that height is a very impressive 260. And the midsection, look, the midsection can still be sucked in. It's flat. You can still see detail in that. It's just the size of the arms and the legs means when he diets down, that would look insane.
Yeah, you can tell, and this is just constructive criticism. You can tell he's narrower in the clavicles. You know when they're narrow in the clavicle, like that's a James Hollinshead back double bicep. You know how it balls up where they don't have the whip to spread it as much because they're so dense. But it's all there. He doesn't need to add anything else. He just needs to keep going. Just get peeled, win some shows.
Yeah, because if that's peeled, that's winning some fucking shows. There's no doubt about it.
Because look how wide he's standing.
Yeah.
In the front shot, his adductors are still touching.
Very Nick Walker-esque, isn't it? You know, he kicks his leg right out and twists his ass in.
And I do think, by the way, his traps look, he is pinching his shoulders a little bit. I think he could open up more there and give himself more weight.
Yeah, his posing's all completely off. You can tell. Look at his feet as well in that back double. This kid's back's retarded.
I sent you that shot on in the WhatsApp, bro. I walked into the gym the other day and I see him, and I had to when you have to double look. You think, what the fuck is that? Like, mental.
That's a really good.
That's my mate Tom. He trains in my gym, and he's just started working with Blue Taylor.
Oh, that's him.
That's him.
Okay, cool. Got ya.
Bro, his whole entire back as a complete shot is way better than his front.
Yeah, gnarly.
Like his whole back shot, upper and lower, is sick.
The only thing I don't like is the way he's hitting the front lat, not him in the front lat. Because of his forearms are so high up, it's making his waist look wider and there's a bit of a tilt back. I think if he pulled his elbows back a little bit and leant forward, you'd be able to see actually how small his waist is. I think he's making his waist look wider by the way he's hitting that post.
It's like what Riz said with the rear lat shot that kid was doing, Nat was doing. He's trying to show bigger lats than he has by leaning back, and it just doesn't look good. It looks awful.
because
elongate your midsection. Nobody wants to do that.
It's making his waist look huge there. Where if he dropped his shoulders and his chest down a bit, tilted forwards, he'd have a much better V-taper. You can't. His elbow, there's barely any gap between there, which is making everything look wider.
Yeah, he's doing this. It's like
his arms up and in. So look, there's about that much gap between, which then is making his waist actually look wider.
He's trying to force the no gap logic we all understand by building muscle by posing it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
He's trying to get rid of the gap by posing it when that doesn't work like that. You need to get those lats out and pinch that waist in. If he dropped you need to push his hips back and bring his chest right forward, and then that'll give us a true look at how that lats.
It would be a much better shot.
Bro, where he's not helped himself is his cock is just about hanging in his boxes. Yeah? and there's a massive gap there. If that wasn't a gap and it was pants, I guarantee you his V-tape would look better. It throws the shot off.
Yeah, bro, mate, that dude's got like 9 miles from his belly button to his cock. What's going on there? Mine's not like that.
Because his pants are so low, bro. Look.
If you zoomed in enough, you'd be able to see the top of his little jab side.
Yeah. Don't fucking zoom in. We'll get banned.
And if you wanted to be super picky, you could do with a bit more glute, I suppose.
He needs a lot more quad. Like his back shot from top to bottom is balanced, in my opinion. The fact he's got a bit of glute detail there in that body composition is great. Very jealous, but I think his front shot, his quads are lacking, and he's doing that thing where I think he's overposing his quads, if that makes sense, and his adductors are way bigger than his quads, which is obviously training to give a bit more density when he just needs to focus on bringing his quads up in itself, and a little bit more chest. Arms and delts look good, though.
If you look at his feet, he's rolling his feet out like that.
Yeah.
That's like a fucking, that's not an English thing, is it? Don't we normally crimp our feet? That's
the Americans love it. It's Milos. He spikes his toe up and then rolls the fucking.
I don't like the way that it looks. He needs more. He's more out of sweep, innit? That's what he needs, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's where I think we've lost a lot of really great legs, because the focus on the adductor now is almost like a shortcut or a cheat code to have dense or legs that look thick.
Yeah,
when realistically, I think they should spend more of that time on actually bringing the quad up and then a little bit of adductor. You know.
Yeah.
His adductors are mental, especially in person. Like, his legs actually look fucking massive in person. Yeah, sometimes when pictures don't do it justice. Some people, especially because Tom's quite tall. So it's like, I said that to him the other day. I said, like, them pictures, as good as they look, it doesn't do you justice. Like,
what's
the
his
arm.
Name?
Tom Mew.
Just a little tip for everyone.
230 pound 5'9".
When you're doing front lat spread, and this is where at the PCA show I made a mistake, because when Kieran was posing in front of me, I kept saying to him, "Yo, pick your chest up, yeah." But the issue is when you pick your chest up on stage, you pick your chest up, you're trying to make your lats go further. Judges are looking at you, fucking sitting down.
They're
looking at you up. So and then when he put the whole chest up, he looked like shit. And then when he just did it normally, remember they're looking at you an angle, he actually looked better.
The problem is when we're saying chest up, what we're saying is rotate your shoulders back a bit. What people treat that as is shoot your hips forward and pull up, when that just makes you look terrible.
And they end up leaning back.
Yeah,
which
doesn't look good.
Say. So I always say just hit it normally, just focus on a lat shot. Don't think about your chest too much.
I always just tell clients to always have a slight, very, very minor tilt forward when they're doing something. Always just a minor, because for exactly like what you've just said there, like the judges are looking up at you. So if you lean back, you are good. Or in a real lat, if you lean too far forward, you just instantly flat. You make yourself look small.
You know that? Do any of you follow that really annoying guy on Instagram, Daniel Coffin? He's like a posing guy. He's John Jewett's posing person. He's an absolute nose, but he has some amazing tips. I think Joe Richardson shared his story once, which is why I followed him. But he does a side profile of how every shot should look.
Right.
And it's a really good image, because you're right. It's kind of like every shot, your hips should be back and your waist should be cut forward a little bit. Does that make sense?
Just a touch.
Yeah.
And it makes your waist look smaller. Like, I do that quite a lot in the front relaxed.
Yeah, me. Loads I do it.
Yeah. Right, is that us done for Physique? So we're going to go to questions.
We've got about 10 more as well, so we'll keep those for the next week.
Right.
So we didn't really rate. Oh, well, I guess we did. I don't know what people are asking when it comes to rating. Like, do you like what?
We don't give numbers because
Constructive
numbers is
criticism.
Yeah, you can't give something up to 10, can you? Right. Did anybody else have any questions, or should I rattle through the ones I got?
Yeah,
first?
go on.
Right. So it's quite an in-depth one from my client Sham. I have an ongoing knee issue, tendonitis, so I have to work around it with legs. The heavier I go, the more it gets inflamed. Let me look. So I have to pull back on weight. I don't feel as if I'm getting as much of a good workout as normally when I go heavier because my CNS would normally be fried. So the main question is, would you mask the pain with heat gel, etc., and just go as heavy as possible to try and get what you feel is a solid workout?
No.
Or would you try and train smart to the point where you don't get any issues?
What even a fucking question is that? I'm not being funny.
Listen.
All right, go on.
I know what the sensible idea is, but I'm just worried that if I'm not pushing as hard as I feel I should be, I won't be getting as much growth.
So
Let's start with Sham. Sham's got a ridiculous upper body. What he's done post show, he looks mental.
Oh, Sham looks mad, bro.
But the lagging, if he could get his quads to match his rear hams and his upper, it's lights out. He'll be smoking dudes, but he's got very up and down legs. So I understand why he's asking this question, because we all know, or I do specifically, if you have a limiting injury for something that really needs to come up, you have to find a way to fix it, because you can't fluff it.
So if you've got tendonitis and you keep pushing, what's next? A fucking tear.
No, so this is what I was, because Haley sent us in the group chat. I was going to touch on this because, number one, what are you defining as tendonitis? Like, is it actually diagnosed? Or is it knee pain? The other side of that is, and I know this, obviously, I've had a boatload of knee surgeries and I've got chocolate knees, so I know the way I would advise to do this. Load will give you bigger legs. You do need load. You are just going to have to find a way of achieving that, and I don't think volume over reps will give you that, personally, like total load. But you need to find something that suits your ankle mobility, that doesn't put so much pressure on the knee tendon in itself. A really good one for this is the linear hacks. You know, the girly ones, or like the pin-loaded ones, they seem to be really good for some reason. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's because they're not such an aggressive angle. But if you can use that...
One,
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Or the Atlantis one. You know, the one that we've got in our gym that you sit the seat up?
I think a lot of people that think they have tendonitis don't actually have tendonitis. It could be a lot of different things that causes that knee to actually hurt. Like things like a tight hamstring can cause your knee to hurt. You know what I mean? Yeah. The hips can cause like the knee to hurt. So I think you got to first work out what's causing the knee pain, address that, and then you can train a lot more productively, because you can only push the pain so far, and then you just end up getting hurt even more.
You know, I see a common trend with people that have bad knees is they train to a 90-degree angle. And what I mean by that is often people have fucked knees is they'll get to a 90-degree angle and they'll come straight up. But I think that flex, or that knee flexion, allows you to stretch the tendon out and come up. And I think
I've said before, when I did the whole half rep shit for my quads, my knees were fucked. I started doing everything over the top wrong, let my heel come off a bit, bang, my legs got better, and my knee pain's gone.
Well, look at your leg press. You're basically sucking yourself off now, comparable to what it...
Yeah.
And I can get, like, I do like a and I'm not slating it, by the way, because I do like a 90-degree on my leg press. Like, I'm not the person that folds myself all the way over. But I think if you are someone that does that, a lot of the load stays on the joint in the tendon rather than the quad. And we do know people have built massive quads by doing it that way, but you only got to look at the fucking Asians and how they squat and how good their knee flexion is, look at their quads. So by maybe, I think Riz mentioned doing this last week, maybe restarting again on a movement you feel comfortable with, that's allowable for your ankle mobility, start at a plate and just get strong again all the way up, just work it all the way up.
Bro, after this last show I did, my leg press, because I didn't train legs for like 10 weeks, right? Because I was being faggot, yeah? I was going to gym and doing like 4 reps and fucking off. After my show on the what's that pivot press that I use? What's it called?
Cybex one. Yeah.
Bro, I was doing 4 plates dying, yeah. And since then I've worked up to 10, but I've kept the form the exact fucking same.
And that's also a really good machine to use. That.
Yeah, I've done 9 plates. Yeah, I did 9 plates for about 7 sessions. I then finally thought, fuck it, I need to do 10 now. But I'm putting my. But I think the issue is people want to feel their quad.
Yeah.
I know it sounds weird, but they want to feel the quad and they're trying to pump it, and you don't get that same sort of quad pump.
Yeah.
I don't think on legs.
I
Not
think
on that leg press.
I think for me, both of the main points that you're making are the important ones. Chudleys, in the sense of people just don't get enough tissue work. It's as simple as that. If you've got bad knees or you think you've got tendonitis, 90% chance is if you do, it's because your hips, your quads, your hams are tight. So when I've had knee issues, or if I mean, Cham's a client of mine, for me, if you've got knee issues, you should be getting deep tissue on your lower half every other week or every week to try and increase the flexibility of your tissue so it's not tugging at your tendons as quickly as possible. And then, exactly what Riz and Deck is saying, find exercises that don't hurt your knees and then allow you to progress. I think people get, and I did it when I was younger, you get very stuck on thinking that you've got to do certain exercises. For an awful long time, my main compound in legs was a leg press and a one leg press, because hacks have always hurt my knees, and because of my slip discs, I can't squat really, right? Yet my legs are bigger now than they ever have been. They've always been a strong point, but I haven't really squatted heavy. I used to squat 5 plates, but I haven't done it in maybe a fucking decade, right? But my legs are bigger now than ever because I know what I can push safely that doesn't hurt. And I think people are always like, oh, well, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. All you've got to do is be able to train a body part as hard and as heavy as you can without getting injured. That's the simplicity of it.
You know, I think with the pain thing is as well. Maybe you can do a lot of other exercises before you get to the heavy shit, right? So do a lot more like lunges and Bulgarian squats and like all of that shit to almost like pre-exhaust. So then once you get to the hacks, you don't have to do 5 and 6 plates. You can do 3 plates.
And people forget like the load as well. Like I thought about this the other day because we were talking about doing bodyweight lunges. Like Shams is going to be around 100 kilos. That's 100 kilo of load going for a single leg. Like that's a lot of weight. Like you don't need to rush and put loads more on. If you were to pre-exhaust with lunges, then hammer your leg extensions, maybe get an adductor in, and like Chud said, like do your squat movement at the end, whatever that may be, or a leg press. Your knees should be fully warm. Also, I got this from post-surgery. I put my knee sleeves on before I even leave the house. So when I go to leg day, I'll put my knee sleeves on when I'm in the car. They'll warm them up. When I get to the gym, I take them off again so my knees are nice and warm. Then when I start training, I put them back on again. It does massively help, especially when the weather is as cold like it is.
Two things that I think are important is wearing leggings when you train, tight leggings, because all you do, and it was exactly what Dick just said, they're increasing the temperature of your joints. Even if I'm in a hot country like fucking Spain or Dubai, I train legs in leggings because I've been doing it that long with no knee issues. I can't train without them. And then the other thing is Quang Long oil. Put some on your knees.
That's awesome.
Put it round your knee joints and then put your leggings over the top and your knees will feel fantastic.
A bottle of that lasts about 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
It fucking stinks.
Yeah, just whatever you do after you've put it on, don't go for a piss until you've washed your hands.
Yeah, don't touch your cock.
Big fucking trouble. And then lastly, warming up right. What I find works the best for me is doing 2 or 3 minutes on the stairs, nice and slow, but missing a step. So I'm doing a lunge on the stair, but dead slow, stretching my hips out. And then I go downstairs and I do body weight lunges, little steps, long steps, everything, open my hip joints and stretch my muscles out. And then the difference that makes to my fucking leg training is insane.
But I will echo Shams's point there. Like, if you've built muscle by training that way, I genuinely believe it's very difficult to switch to like a higher volume and a fluffy type. I don't believe it'll work, especially if you're trying to bring up a lagging body part. So I think you need to find a way and then stick to that way. Once you've got that, don't get bored, don't go off elsewhere, don't try and do something else, just take that and run the weight up.
Bro, when I go to the gym on legs, if I know I progressed my leg press and my adductors at the beginning of the session, after that on a hack squat, I will do 10 reps on every set that I do. 1 plate, 10 reps, 2 plate, 10 reps, 3 plate, 10 reps, 4 plate, 10 reps. And then I'm just like, yo, I'm pretty fucked by that fucking 4th set. And that's only about a 10 repper. But if you, I was going to say, one thing that I didn't do last session and it did later on impact me, I never stretched because I was in a rush to get home. And my DOMs have been horrible this week in legs. I think stretching is a very important one. I think it's not spoken about, not with your quad being such a big muscle.
It's just because we're lazy. It's like me, right? My degree's in fucking sports therapy, right? And I know. And when I get to the gym, I'm like, right, stretch afterwards. And then by the time I'm done my session, I'm like, fucking hell, I've got stuff to do. And everybody I speak to about it, it's like Dan Bastic's been having loads of issues with his knees. And he knows, and he got no.
What is going on with his legs? I know he's rehabbing. Is he? Because he tore something, didn't he? Was it happening? No.
He did a little bit, yeah, but his knees are just bad, and they happen every time he gets heavy because he doesn't get tissue work, and because he's so heavy and strong, it's just constant pressure. He said to me today, he said, "You're right, you know, Hilly," or yesterday, he said, after listening to you mention it to other people and me a couple of times, it's just because I'm not getting tissue work done. Yeah. When you've got to think, every time we train, your muscles are getting more dense, more beat up, and more and stiffer. Yeah. And then if you're growing and if you're a heavier guy and then you're training, you are battering you're battering your entire body, but I just feel that the lower half takes it more because it's not getting the chance to recover the upper is. You're on your feet, your knees are getting used all day, you move more weight through your low volume, through your lower body. So the amount of work your tendons and ligaments and joints take through your knees and your hips outweighs any of the rest of your body part. And if you're not getting, and it comes back to the stretching as well, if you're not getting deep tissue and you're stretching, you're just asking for trouble problems over time. And it comes
I mentioned that before as well. Like, my knees are at their worst when I'm peak off season, and that doesn't correlate to how strong I am. Does that make sense? It's more things like getting on the toilet, getting up off the sofa. It's just wear and tear over time. And by the time you get to the peak off season, you've still got a bit more weight you can push on, but your knees are the limiting factor of growing.
I would argue tissue work is more important in the off season than it is in prep. Yet what you tend to see, and I'm bad for it myself, is in the off season, you slack on that, and then come prep, it's like, right, I'm booking my massages in every other week, everything, and we all know the same. It's the prep effect, isn't it? Everybody zones in, but these little bits fall by the by in the off season when actually the little bits. But I think everybody's into sleep at the moment, and everybody's into other shit. But I think, how can you expect to be constantly beating the fucking shit out of your muscles and your joints, and in an off season where they're getting bigger, they're under more stress than ever, you're trying to grow them and then not get any tissue work done?
Well,
like
it's hard to fit in deep tissue, sometimes, because my right side of my back was fucked for a while, and I just blanked it, and when it fucked up for 6 weeks,
yeah.
And it's taken me like 3 days.
It's a pain in the ass, though, because it's like an hour out of your day. You normally got to get it done before you train, unless you, obviously, it depends what kind of lifestyle you live, I suppose. But then it kind of fucks up with training, because I tell you now, you go to a proper therapist, you are going to feel like ass afterwards. You ain't going to feel fucking hunky-dory and walk around. It feels like you get bit by a bus.
Do it on a rest day. You've got to do it on a rest day.
Yeah.
Well, what I try and do is, so what I try and do is, I try and get it, so usually one of my rest days is a Friday. So I normally try, and I usually train a Thursday, 1 or 2 o'clock. Yeah. I usually try and go Thursday, 6 o'clock. So then I've got the full Friday off, and then back in on the Saturdays when I usually try and go. Right, next question. How much, this is a stupid one. How much cardio would you consider too much when trying to lose body fat?
No such thing.
There's no such thing. As much cardio as you need to lose the body fat.
Everyone's different, and some people can get away with doing no cardio, some people don't, but then you can also see people who say, I've never had to do cardio. Take Nathan Heck as an example. Was a person who didn't need to do cardio, get in shape, switch coaches, got cardio, and got a very different look out of it. So it depends on kind of what you're trying to do in who's coaching you, I suppose. But there's not an amount that's too high, and there's not a calorie point that's too low. You need to do what you need to get in shape.
For most people, on how fat you are. So if you're someone that's just trying to if you're someone that's really fucking fat and you've got a lot of body fat to burn, then you've obviously got a lot more storage, so you can do a lot more cardio.
And in reality as well, because this isn't a competitor, I don't believe. When you're a lifestyle client, you're not going to want to drive you're not going to suffer through the agony of driving food super low. Someone in prep would that's got a goal. So you are better off not trying to take your food to silly low levels and doing a shit ton of cardio to burn the fat.
But you know what? Some people would rather take the lower food than actually do cardio.
But I get that, though. You grow up in this lifestyle or bodybuilding sport, and when you start to learn to enjoy cardio, clears your mind a little bit. You treat it like a training session. It does become a positive over time. You just need to kind of face it head on.
If I don't do cardio in the morning, my bowel movement timing goes off, so I have to do.
Yeah, man, the same. The problem is, the problem is as well, you can only undereat for so long before your body just slows down.
Fuck you, yeah.
Whereas with cardio, like exactly like what Truddy just said there, if you've got a shit ton of fat to lose, you've got a shit ton of stored energy, you need to burn that off. Yeah. And I mean, I had a client the other day, he was doing 40 minutes of cardio and 15,000 steps. It was 2 weeks ago. He thinks he needs a deload from it. And I'm like, listen, like, you don't need a deload from cardio, mate. You're just not happy with the work and you need to do the work. Another one that follows on.
Doing cardio. I've never minded doing cardio. No.
Another one that follows on. Thoughts on cardio at higher heart rates for long durations, 145 to 160 beats.
Can you read that again? Sorry.
Yeah. Thoughts on cardio at higher heart rates, 145 to 160 beats per minute for longer durations, 20 to 40 minutes.
What for? Why?
Well, I'm presuming he means fat loss, like cardio in general. I'll answer, man. For me, if it's a rest day, for most people, I see no issue with it. You've got the rest of the day to recover. It's not impacting anything. It will improve your fitness. It's not what bodybuilders would normally do, but I see no issue in it. What I wouldn't like someone to do is 30 or 40 minutes of cardio on the morning that they're going to train at 160 beats per minute and then go to train later on, because cardio at that heart rate is going to be very glycolytic. If we're being a geek. Yeah, I'm being a geek. Very glycogen demanding, children. And it is then going to tire you out for the day. And we've got to remember, our priority for our glycogen is our weight training. Steady state cardio is just to sort of burn some calories and burn some fat. So that would be mine.
It depends, doesn't it? You can do a really hard cardio session, but if you've got 4 meals till you go to the gym, I think you'll be pretty good, mate.
But we're about in a deficit though, so really, like, I mean, if for me to get my heart rate 160 beats per minute, right, I'd have to fucking jog. If I went running tomorrow morning for 40 minutes, I'm going to be fucked all fucking day.
And it goes back to the logic. Like, our whole goal, even with lifestyle clients, is preservation of performance in the gym, not for how much you can do on a fucking treadmill. Does that make sense? And you're trying to maintain that as high as possible. So cardio is a tool to put yourself in a further deficit. You also burn far more fat training in the gym than you would doing cardio. So just treat it as an add-on type thing, not kind of the priority focus.
But I would have no issues for a lifestyle client doing it. I have lifestyle clients and fucking high rocks clients and CrossFit clients who go out running every morning. That's absolutely fine. But in terms of bodybuilding, I would only keep that stuff to rest days.
I think doing HIT is quite good if you can do it, obviously, once or twice a week, even a bit more.
Well, I agree as well, but I agree as well. But 40 minutes ain't never been no HIT.
No, that's what I'm saying. As in, I'm saying HIT, like do 2-minute walk, 1 minute,
like 20 minutes flat out. Yeah.
Well, get it back up, drop it back down, get it up.
What I find very effective for HIT and true HIT, I have people doing a spin bike sometimes in prep with a lot of off-season or lifestyle clients post-workout, where you do a 2-minute warm-up on a spin bike and then you do 7, 8, 9 sprints for like 10, 12, 15 seconds, 60 seconds go slow and you go again. And Bob Waterhouse, it's Vicky who does Bob's contest preps. She has him do HIT right until 2 or 3 weeks out.
This is funny you say that, because one of my long-term clients, he's actually quite a good bodybuilder, and we've just started prep now, and I've actually got him doing exactly that. We only do 10 minutes post-workout, and he goes, "Why are we doing that then?" And I just said, "Well, actually, just because I know that Hilly does it, so it's going to be something." It's going to be no. That's literally what I said. I said Hilly's a fan of it, so I said
it's a time efficient thing as well. If you're someone who's limited on time, it makes sense. Like because another way of doing it is
in a pure gym, so it's not that. But his appetite is dog shit. So I said that's going to pick that up.
Yeah. Works very well for some people, and it comes down to this sort of how your body handles it. And you doing 12 minutes of cardio after your weight training session, right? I don't care whether you missed a fucking Olympia. It ain't impacting your fucking recovery during the prep. So like what Dec just said. If you can burn more calories in HIT, and if you've done upper body, you're doing it on a spin bike, it ain't zapping anything out. And obviously, when you're 2, 3, and 4 weeks out, you're pulling that shit out.
But I did say that to him. I said, like, look, the thing is, if it's not impacting us, that's what I said to him. I said, Hilly does it sometimes up to like the end of prep. Like, if you can, then we'll do that. So
it's like what we always say with Rob Taylor. Rob Taylor can do fucking 60 minutes on the fucking cross trainer on the stairs twice a day. His legs fucking are sound. Whereas every time I've tried to do, I remember one prep I was doing cardio on a cross trainer, and I was getting bursitis in my hip, and I noticeably watched my legs lose size. Most people can't do.
What did you just call it?
I got bursitis.
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 What's that?
So you have around your joints, you have pockets of what are called burses, and the pockets of fluid and the lubricate your joints. But what can happen is if a joint's aggravated too much, the bursa becomes inflamed, and it's called bursitis, and it swells.
And it can look mental, especially if you're lean. It's like pockets of water.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it, right? I remember I was only a kid. I was just one of my first shorts. I'd have been like 22 or 23. I remember being in the shower, right, and I was washing myself, and there was these golf ball lumps sticking out my fucking hips, and I started freaking the fuck out, right? And what it was because I'd started doing 50 or 60 minutes of cardio every morning on the cross trainer. The cross trainer fixes your hips in, doesn't it? So you're just doing the same continuous pattern. And I literally give myself to cut the bursitis here. And I had this golf ball lump sticking out there, and it was off it.
Yeah.
I'm still going to say to all of you lot what I always say. The best form of cardio for preserving your quads is the spin bike.
I agree,
I need to order a new one.
I agree.
I don't have one.
Hey, Riz, you've got that big expensive fancy treadmill. You can't be ordering another bike.
Bro, once we move into the warehouse, outside bit's going to turn into an outdoor gym, outdoor fitness bit. No, I need to get a spin bike. I still think the spin bike has such merit, man.
Yeah.
Right. So, been seeing the upper body, lower body, full body split a lot. It's beneficial for building muscle.
Trained by JP.
Trained by JP.
Yeah.
Mind you, last year, it was push, pull, rest, legs, rest, repeat. Now it's that. Next year be something else. It's like with gear. It's then everyone's on a nandrolon only cycles. Then it's a primo.
I just wish, and I always have, and I know I always have beef with like the fucking the Jordan followers because they're unable to interpret what he's actually saying. Like he's not saying full body is better. He's saying frequency is better.
Yes.
Like the more we know this. We all know this, and whether we do a bro split, push, pull legs, upper, lower, full body, whatever, we prioritize the frequency and what areas we need to bring up. What he's basically saying is if you're fucking small, you can recover. That is what he's saying. If you have no muscle, you need one working set, bang it out multiple times a week. We know that. That's common sense. But when you're at a point of where you can create a demand in the gym and destroy your CNS in a couple of sets, that's not applicable to the majority of people. I don't care what anyone says.
Bro, honestly, I reckon Jordan and Corrine have got like an ongoing bet where they're like, right, JP, this month you're going to do this.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how many bellends do it. So he gets elastic, but he got the elastic band the other day, right? And he's doing the push downs on it. I thought to myself, JP, I don't give a fuck how big you are. I'm not doing that. And I seen the comments, people saying, fucking hell, mate, I tried that. It's amazing. I was like, mate,
in my gym, right?
A weapon.
Jordan fucked his pec up or something, and he couldn't close no, what it was is when he was doing flies, his shoulders were getting too involved, so he started doing one arm fly specifically for him. Week later, mate, every cunt's doing it in the gym. It's mental.
Mate, do you know what it is? Jordan copied off me because I've only got one pec, so I do one arm. Jordan saw me and thought it was a special chick. The other thing is, as well, is that Jordan's trained everywhere, right? And I think the big key point that people miss is Jordan loves training. And he loves to train a certain way, and he knows what works, and he's banging to the science. So he's all about that. But when I prepped Jordan once, we were both training double days, training twice a day. The problem is people are so bothered about it, not, which is what he says over again. Find what you enjoy doing and find what works for you. People miss all of that. They miss everything else. They just jump. I'm a huge fan of upper lower, and I've said this before, because most people, normal people, have only ever done body part splits.
Yeah.
Upper lower sessions are fucking way harder. So I like to put people on upper lower that are new to training or that are lifestyle clients, simply for them to realise what it's actually like to have a demanding session and not just do chest and biceps.
Yeah.
The other thing is, there is no doubt about it, most people can train more often. The science to support both. So like what Dex says, there is a fantastic science study review that shows, when it is reviewed hundreds of literature, it doesn't really matter how often you train a body part, it is about how much volume you're doing over the week. But when you are Jordan and you are lifting that much weight, there is no way Jordan could do all of the volume he needs in a week in one session because of the weight he lifts. So he needs to spread the fucker out. For some of us, like me, I can get away with doing all of mine in one session if I want, because I'm not lifting an ungodly amount of fucking weight. And I don't enjoy training different body parts on different days. I need a set fucking routine. for my schedule with Aralina, but even before that, I can't do push-pull legs 2 on 1 off. My mind goes all funky because I'm training different body parts on different days. So I know what makes me mentally sound, which allows me to enjoy my training more. But for the point of the question, upper and lower body training, as is full body, are fantastic ways of training if you can get them to work for you and if you enjoy it.
It's also, people don't understand as well, and I know I mentioned this before, but you kind of need to watch how Jordan trains and really like interrogate what he's saying to understand like how much of a fine-tuned machine that man is. It's like let's take car racing as an example. For the majority of people, a DCT flappy panel box will be faster around the Nürburgring. If you are an elite level driver, you will be faster in a manual, but that's not applicable for 99% of people who can't double clutch or rev match and things like that. Does that make sense? Whereas Jordan is that human being. 99% of the people that follow this stuff, in my opinion, don't have the ability to be as autistic with their training and methodical as he is, and have the ability to get the biofeedback from themselves to say, I can squeeze 2 more reps here or 1 more set here or take this over to the next session. Does that make sense? I think people will get more progress if they just stick to something like a push-pull legs and a bro split and just get better at that.
I think people are thick because people will say, oh, volume is king. And I'm a big fan of volume, right? But I think people look at volume from this 1 set block here, right? Once a week. People would look at it from your volume from overall.
Yeah.
So if your overall volume, let's say, for example, my overall volume now from doing push-pull off, legs off, is higher over 10 days when I hit everything twice than it would have been hitting everything once every 7 days.
Yeah.
Because and if I hit the same thing over 2 weeks, it would be higher volume again, but I'm not hitting it as much. So the overall volume is actually greater.
And that what you've said is the exact thing that people can't grasp. They can't get that frequency bit. They don't understand what your period of training block is. They don't understand that, and they don't understand what Jordan is saying, which ultimately, the more you can attack a movement or a muscle and recover, the better, the bigger it's going to be. And that applies to everything. The more food you can eat, the more you can digest, the bigger you will be. The same thing we always say. Once you know all the variables, the bigger your cycle is, the bigger you're going to be. It's a case of doing as much as possible where there's not any negative cascades. That's
the way that I look at it is, and I think Jordan said it many years ago on the forum. He goes, when you drive your car more, you just become a better fucking driver, yeah? He goes, that doesn't mean you have to go out for, you know what I mean? What makes you a better driver? Driving every day for 2 hours or going on your car and doing a big 24-hour journey. For 2 hours every single fucking day is better.
Yeah.
And you smash it in that 2 hours.
The biggest bit for the people miss for me is finding what you do that enjoy. So I did full body before Christmas for 10 weeks, like you know. I actually loved the sessions and I saw some great progress. But I tell you what, it was mentally hard to do upper and then be like, right, you've got to get it in the legs now. There ain't no way, I know most people, there's no way, and I don't think there's any fucking way you'd put a lifestyle client through it or something else. Do you know what I mean? I think you could do it if you were in person with them, but I think trying to get most people to train their entire body effectively and then be like, I've got to go and squat now with your legs.
Mate, even now, due to my injuries, that I know I'm going to have to put compounds at the end of my session is a fucking nightmare to me. Like, thinking I have to do my whole leg session, then squat and leg press at the end is fucking torture.
Yeah, fuck that. Let's do next question.
Next question. So this is a really good one. This is from Kerry M. IFBB4, who is a fantastic cycle duration as opposed to just quantity. Someone may run less, but for longer.
For females, duration is the biggest killer.
Yeah, exposure time is a biggie for females, but if she's just talking in general...
Well, you're being very sexist, boys. Just because it's a female asking doesn't mean she means it's for female drug users.
True. And what is a fucking male and female in this day and age?
Well, in America, there is only male and female now.
I gotta love that boy Donald Trump, aren't you? You gotta love him.
I think, like what you were saying there, I think it's very different when it comes to male or females. Actually, like you were saying, Dec. I think in males. Sorry, go on, Riz.
I'm pretty sure the actual literature shows short-term bursts of anabolic use brings way less long-term side effects than long-term use does. So technically, according to the studies and what Dave Crossan said before, the short-term big blast is going to yield way less long-term issues than a long-term blast.
It's such a. Look, I don't disagree with you. It's just such a. There's so many variables to that question. I think, let's say a lower toxicity cycle. Let's just use that terminology because everyone understands it. A lower toxicity cycle over a longer period of time, I think, is going to be better for your overall health, organs, blood lipids, whatever, than a higher toxicity cycle for a shorter period of time. And when I mean that, I mean really pushing the envelope. I'm not saying I'm talking like
short, high intensity cycle. You mean?
I'm talking gamma test, gamma EQ, anadrol, all that sort of stuff in for 4, 5, 6 weeks, maybe superdrol, comparable to a gamma primo or a gamma mass 400 test and a bit of anavar for say 22 weeks. I think if you were to compare both of those, do bloods 2 weeks post of both of those, I think the anadrol in grams of gear is going to have more negative effects on their lipids than the person who's ran the high DHT low test and anavar for a longer period of time.
Yeah, but which one's also, you got to think about it as well.
Which one gets the most muscle?
Let's just say I do 8-week blast, and I go full ham. Yeah. I put on 25 pounds.
Yeah.
You do that in 16 weeks, yeah?
Yeah.
On your lower compounds. Sweet. I've now had my 8 weeks. I put my 25 pounds on. I've had 8 weeks rest. Now my bloods are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But now you've just finished. I'm going to make progress again.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
But then to counter that, the 25 pounds you put on in the 8 weeks is going to be a lot of water. The 25 pounds you put on over 60 or 20 weeks is likely potentially beating more tissue.
Yeah, but you get what I'm trying to say. But if you,
I understand what you're saying.
If you could have, if I can have, it's like Jordan's philosophy, and it more frequency. So the more frequent I can blast,
but then
the bigger I can.
But then, if you look at it in a cyclical way, by the time you come back off again on your higher toxicity cycle, I'm back on again for a longer period of time. So I think it will balance out in terms of muscular gain or weight gain, and I think the variable, the consistent, will be the negative effects on your blood lipids.
There's so many different ways. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll start first by saying there's 2 key differences here because it's a female asking the question.
Yeah.
For females, as Deck initially said, the devil is in the duration.
Yeah.
So cycle duration as opposed to quantity, for me, for a female, it is all about time that you're under drugs. The time you're on drugs is going to lead to more sides. So I would say a female might be better off arguably running a little bit more for a shorter period of time than running a little bit less for a longer period of time. Whereas for me personally, I think it's different with males. I think we can take more drugs and get away with the effects a bit better, and we don't have to worry about virilization. And I also think that no matter how much drugs you take, you can only gain so much muscle in a set time frame. Yeah. So I would say if I had the decision between running a gram for 20 weeks or 5 gram for 6 or 8 weeks, I would take the gram for 20 weeks. If we're looking at bodybuilders and growth, I think I would get more tissue out of 20 weeks on a gram than I would get 3-4 week stints on 5 gram. But I've never done that, by the way, but I just think from what I know. And in terms of negative sides, I actually think if I did 5 gram a week for 4 gram for 4 weeks, which is a short, high intensity cycle, and then did 4-6 weeks off and then did that again, I still think my blood markers would be worse than taking that full dosage and spreading it over 20 weeks. Personally,
that's a good way of looking at it, because ultimately over time it's the same dosage. Yeah, that's a better way of explaining it, looking at it. Yeah.
Let's say we've got 20 weeks, right? And we can do 4 on, 4 off, 4 on, 4 off, 4 on. Gives us out 20 weeks.
Yeah.
So you've got 4, 8. So you've only got 12 weeks on cycle, and that gives you 5 gram a week, whatever that is, right? So
that's what 60 grams.
Yeah. Then if we divided that over 20 solid weeks, I think yes. When I look at it,
but you can't argue.
I don't think there'd be a fucking difference.
That's like me saying, all right then, I'm gonna run 1.5 grams per week, over 10 weeks, or I'm gonna run TRT over 10 weeks. No, sorry, I'm gonna run TRT. No, I've totally fucked up the whole question.
I know what you're trying to say. I know what you're trying to say, but I also think for every argument, there's a negative.
If I've got a gram, no, then again, Hilly's right. Because if right now I'm on a cruise,
I'm always right.
The other variable.
Ask all my ex-girlfriends, I'm always right.
And no matter what anyone says, as much as there's going to be a potential, let's say, more anabolism, more muscle of that where you're pushing the envelope, there is going to be more negative returns. And I know that we can talk in theory, but obviously you're going to have problems with your eating, that sort of stuff. And I think just in general, from my experience, I do think the 1 gram a week over the 20 weeks will be more sustainable, and you'll see more linear progress that will be kept rather than the 5 grams for 4 weeks at a time.
I would
the 20-week period of time.
I would revert back to Jordan, seeing as we like to use as example for training. If short, high-intensity cycles put more muscle on and still kept you alive, Jordan would be doing them over anybody else. I think,
but it's a funny one, isn't it? Until someone's tried it properly,
until
1 month off, it's hard to comment on it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't even think you can comment on it, because you could. How far could you go? Well, it depends on what you run. What you running for 20 weeks? What you running for 4 weeks? And then how does your body deal with it? And you know, like you could go round in circles.
Let's be realistic. You have 2 points here, right? All of us are floating here, aren't we, in the middle? We found the happy medium. We know what the medium is. We know what taking the piss is, and then we know what the safer model is for a longer period of time. And we're floating in that middle of not doing 20 weeks, not doing 4. We're doing 12 with a bit of both. See what I mean?
And we
going back to the women thing, like, and I don't want to sound like a dick. And if you've got women that watch this, I hope you're not all offended. But the increasing number of women I'm seeing that have blatant or obvious viralization or exposure to drugs when their physique have no business, that their physique doesn't even show it, is terrifying. The deeper voices, the masculine to their faces, when they are not muscular women in any way, shape, or form, they're potentially just trying to do a bikini show, and you're not even talking a pro. I'm talking like a PCA standard, is really fucking worrying.
Bro, it's too many.
Especially in the gym, like JP, that like tracks a lot of the competitors and stuff. It's just nuts.
Just so you know, Kerry, who asked the questions, actually got an unfucking. That's why she's a pro. She's fucking awesome.
She's got a next level physique. Level physique. But you see her, she can obviously justify it because that's
it.
Brilliant.
Well, the other thing is, we're looking at a physique like that. Her use probably isn't even fucking high. I mean, I don't know what to say, but I just think for girls, it's the devil is in the duration, from what my understanding is, both in terms of the science, and there's also it's the whole sport sucks because it's so genetic based. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I know some females that can run stuff and have no issues. And then I know some females that have taken very little and all of a sudden got sides, very much like us. Do you know what I mean? Like, look at when I did my shows the other year. I did 22-week cycle by the end. Then I did a rebound cycle. Then went to Ibiza, got off my nut, and my bloods were fucking perfect. Like,
the other side of it as well, and I know everyone knows this, but it's just a case of like, when we talk about as men bodybuilders or male bodybuilders, like we just amplify what we are genetically. Like, they are literally changing their genetic makeup full 360.
For
like
life,
for
life.
Even if it's for like 2, 3, 4 weeks, you are literally swinging the pendulum the complete opposite way of you were born to gain muscle for a very short period of time, and that's a real risk a woman should weigh up before just jumping in knee deep for a good Instagram photo.
And do you know what it is?
There is no chance. There is no chance. Let's be honest, yeah. Let's look at all the top coaches in the UK. I'm not going to drop a name because I don't want to be rude or anything, but look at all the top coaches in the UK. And how many of them have put their misses on high-level PED? None.
Yeah.
Absolutely none.
Yeah.
And that's a big sign to say you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, they would not allow their wife to do it. When you come along, they're like, 20 mega anavar, MPP, all of it. It's mad.
I think the other thing, what I think for some females will miss as well, it's very much like us. I mean, Risk did the same cycle. My blood work was perfect. His was through the roof. We all know that some of us can handle more drugs than others. There are some of us that do this and that. What I think females sometimes miss is, yes, there will be some females that can take some drugs and not get virilization effects. But that doesn't mean that everybody is going to be able to. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with anything else. Every one of us reacts. I know some females that can take decent amounts of this and that, and nothing changes. You can't even tell. They feel better on the drugs. And then I've got 2 female clients at the moment, 60 to 80 megaprimo. One runs 80 megaprimo, nothing changes. Even though it lowers estrogen, it doesn't affect her fucking period. It doesn't affect anything. Another female client runs the same dose, and a period stops, and it takes 8 to 12 weeks for it to come back, because the drug is affecting one drastically different to another. And that will be the same for virilization. It's so unique to each person. You've always just got to keep duration short, monitor exactly what everything does. So another female there, when we went through what she'd done with other coaches, she'd never just put one drug in at a time. And I think this is way more important for females than males. Every time she tried something, she tried 2 or 3 things. So she'd had bad reactions to all these different, she'd had bad experiences at each time. But when I trawled through all of it, excuse me, Alan. But when we went through everything, it took me a while, and I do this with everybody. When we went through everything, I was like, so you felt bad then, what were you taking? Well, what did you put in first? Oh, well, it all went in at the same time. So you don't know which one of these 3 different drugs caused the problem. Okay, the next time you felt bad, well, I put all those in at the same time with a different coach. Not once. So what we've done is pulled everything out, and then we're going to add one thing in at a time. Whether it's L-carnitine, whether it's metformin, whether it's T4, we're going to add one thing at a time and see what she feels good on. The same as I've done with you, Dec, and with you, Riz. Yep. Find out what you feel good on and what you feel bad on, and what we notice any negative side effects. We stay away from the shit that makes you feel bad, or does, and we rinse the shit that makes you feel good. And it's.
I do want to say as well, yeah, like anything, I'm not knocking female bodybuilding.
No, never mind.
But I think I proper like female bodybuilding. Like, I think engineer sponsors like some of the best fucking female bodybuilders there is. Do you know what I mean? It's not that I just think but the girls in engineering, they've got it to be that elite.
Yeah.
A lot of these bikini girls, they're not structurally there. They're not trained long enough, and they just don't have the genetics. And they're slamming gear to do what? To do bikini.
Yeah. But we see it with men, don't we? Like, you see it with men in the gym, like, they're running 4 or 5 grams of gear and they literally look like a bag of dicks. Like, they are the people that I would have the same conversation with.
Exactly.
Like, look, maybe lower the dose, to do the best you can with what you got. All you're doing is that you're going to keep pushing the envelope until something goes pop.
Bro, there's not one day that I am ever happy with my physique, yeah? I go into the gym, I look at someone, I think, fucking hell, bro, you look like proper shit. I actually look alright today. Like, yo, you've got really bad genetics. Because some people, bro, have got, not to be a cunt, look, you have to be 6 foot plus to play basketball, 6'5", and you can't do it if you're short. And in bodybuilding, the issue is everyone can do everything.
Society in this day and age, everything has to be inclusive, doesn't it? Everyone has to be able to take part. It's fucking nonsense.
You can't do it. You can't be good at everything.
No.
Right. I think, if you go to, I don't know, Hilly, you might have had it done because you went to like a sports uni or whatever, yeah? If you go to a sports uni or you do like a PE degree or whatever, they actually check your body to see what type of athlete you'd be best at.
Yeah, there is some checks like that where they check your response time and this time and your reaction time.
Check
go back to the younger days of playing academy football. They just picked black kids that couldn't even play football because they could run the 100 meters in 10 fucking seconds. Were built like brick shithouses. They can teach you the skill of the football. They can't make genetics up. Once they see you guys that are built like 18-year-olds at 14, massive quads that can run, they're strong. They can teach you the fucking rest. All the people who have natural talent, they're pushed aside. It's the genetics that they want.
Last question I've got is from Judge's Missus. Ranking each other from best to worst, who would win the bodybuilding competition?
I said that's going to spark up an argument.
I'll say Riz.
I'm retired, bro. I don't really compete.
I'll say Riz.
Well, I technically,
I think he'll have us. He'll do that shaking pose where he shakes when he poses.
I have to lose because I've got missing body. Well, me and Tully have both got missing body parts, so we'd have to take the last.
Yeah, but Chudge, you can't even see his pec.
Yeah, you can.
I can't say I beat Riz. He's my boss. My kid don't eat now. But if I don't earn any money from engineer, I don't get it. My kid don't eat.
Listen, other than banter, I've always said Dec would beat me. But all I say to Dec is, come see me when you step on stage. Until that day,
I'm doing men's physique, bro. I got no legs anymore.
Listen, no one here would compete against each other because we'd both all fuck up. Okay.
Honestly, I would follow Riz just to pick him up on stage like Mini-Me.
100.
I would ruin the chance of even winning just to pick him up or do something real. I'd cut his trunks off.
We need to find a gym show where we can all enter and do it.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that Britain's Got Final contest where the two girls come on? She's like, "This is my best mate." And
that'd be us.
In the face. That'd be me, you, Deck.
Yeah.
I tried to spark him.
I would sacrifice any chance of winning for the comedy value, mate.
Picking his up on your shoulder.
Literally, yeah, just running around with him.
Nah, but legit, Deck would smoke. Deck would smoke. It kills me to say this, but Deck would smoke.
Deck definitely has the most potential to beat everybody here without a shadow of a doubt.
I think it's Deck, Riz, Hilly, me.
I haven't strung 10 good days of training together, by the way, in like 8 months. But
Bro, listen, I got shit genetics. Okay,
you haven't. We said this 100 times. We had this question last time. I said
you got decent genetics for a brown guy. That's what it is.
Yeah,
right, how do you judge how big's a dog going to be by the size of its paws? Riz, show me your hands. Your genetic potential is better than
anybody. Look at my little paws, mate. Show me those fucking things, bro.
Them tiny little girl hands there, mate. Look at them.
Bro, I always said this from day one. If Riz would have listened to me the first day we trained together, right? Didn't do half reps, he would look like fucking Haddy.
Bro, listen to me. Listen, this is what I've come to my life recently, yeah? And I honestly mean this. When I was working a full-time job, it was hard to do training, yeah? And then I finally come out of that, and I thought, yeah, man, I'm going to bodybuild. D got cancer. Finally come out of that, I'm going to bodybuild. Business picks up. It's like whatever I try to bodybuild, someone else just comes. I'm like, yeah, that's more.
Mate, that is all my thought process has been at the moment. It's like there's a fucking sign saying stop being a prick, but then without it, it's still the enjoyment of my life. That 2 hours of the day, no matter how much it's broken me and fucking crippled me the past like 8 months. Without that, I'd be in jail. I could murder everyone.
Someone said to me before, what will you do after bodybuilding? And I was like, what do you mean after?
Yeah.
What do you do after? And I was like, there isn't an after. Like, I couldn't possibly tell you what I would do instead because it's not an option. Like,
no, but after like competitive bodybuilding,
even I don't enjoy the competing side of it the most. But like the banter of the group chats and like all this sort of stuff, like the peers you have around you that all take it seriously, going out for food with everyone on the engine, like that's what bodybuilding is to me. Do you know what I mean? The camaraderie.
Even if I said no, I'll never compete again, nothing would change. There would still be periods where I'm pushing my weight up and trying different drugs and seeing what this works. Then there'd be periods where I was coming down to get leaner and seeing if this changes. Then it'd be, what does this style of training do? Like, for me, picking another sport up isn't an option. Like, doing something else. And if I didn't train, I'd be going out and getting pissed and getting wrecked with the lads on the weekend.
And in your genetics, we're all good at it. Like, the dotting the I's and crossing T's, we're all very good at.
Yeah. I'll tell you the peakest thing, yeah, and I remember speaking to Ryan Rhino about this. Ryan's got good genetics. Ryan's got good potential to be very good, yeah. Ryan said, he goes, we having a back and forth, right? And he goes, Riz, like, when I was younger, I would have done anything to be in this position to bodybuild because I can afford it now. I can go gym when I want. I can train when I want. He goes, when you've got all the money and you've got stuff to do it, it doesn't feel. I know it sounds mad, but like,
it's not that. It is a young man sport. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, there's a time in your life where it can be the priority of everything. Like, no matter what happens at the end of the day, and that's when you have the most fun, you make the most progress. But there are people, like, I started bodybuilding very late, and obviously you all know that. He knows that. He was my first proper coach. But like, if I would have started earlier, I know I have the genetics to do well competitively, if that makes sense. But that trajectory would have superseded everything at this stage of my life now. Does that make sense? But now where it's always going to be bodybuilding, and I'm still going to compete in that sort of stuff. But because I started it later, my priority always going to be like my career, my little one, and it'll just slot nicely in the middle. But it will always be a variable in the middle. It's never not going to be there. It will always be there. Does that make sense? Bro, whereas you've got the likes of say that Kai is an example, that Kai's kid. He should be gun-ho, thinking of nothing else but just doing fucking bodybuilding because he has the ability to beat the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And like what you say, when you don't have to worry about your bills so much because there's only you and even like when I had my own house when I was younger and there was only me, my bills were only 800 quid a month. Like there's nothing to pay. I had no kid to look after. I did my mum and dad. Like dad's poorly at the moment. I've got to look after mum to a point. Like there's loads of other. And now I've got Aralina. But even before, like there's so many other external things that take away from a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're younger, which is what Dex said, there's nothing to take away. You can just wholeheartedly, 100%, go all in, and nothing else fucking matters. There is no external stresses.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing like bodybuilding when you're fucking broke. Like, when you get to a point where you're barely scraping your last fucking money to buy your bottle of test, that bottle of test, you know you're getting the most you can out of it.
Yeah.
Like, you're fucking buying all your food in bulk so you can, now it's like you can afford any amount of fucking GH you want, any food, whatever. And you just kind of think,
it's so true. There's nothing more true than that. Like, it's mental.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what Ryan was trying to say. He goes, look, I wish I was in this position when I was younger, but now it's like that. The hunger will always remain the same for everyone, yeah? But it's that, I don't know how to even put it, man. It's like just when you've got,
the hunger is always the same, but they're seeing the importance is superseded by the things. Like I had a really good chat with Kieran at the meal out we did, and I think he's in that same position. Like he's got a lot going on in life, career. There's so much more to Kieran, by the way, than comes across on Instagram. Like that dude's got a fucking head on his shoulders. You know what I mean? And I think he's in that position as well, where you just get to a certain point of your age where you're like, this is great, but would I prefer, like Hilly said, those little bits? You can take little bits away of it, but over time, those little bits add up. You know?
But it is, if I was to bodybuild right now, this is what I'd have to do. I'd sell engineered. I'd say, right, I'm going to have 25 clients at this price, and that's all I'm going to do is fucking bodybuild, yeah? But I went to Hilly yesterday, I messaged him, I go, listen, mate. I goes, bodybuilding's great, Hilly, but it's not going to make my brand massive. As much as I love it, I need to put my time in this. And the older you get, the more you realise that, because no one's paying you gas for your electric, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just want to get into my head I'll just do the one show a year. Does that make sense? Like I know decent off season for the majority of the year, jumping in the show when all the boys are doing it, have a bit of a crack, maybe go to a European show and get fucking sideways afterwards. Just do it that way for fun.
I think when you do it with no expectations, like I've been doing it for the past year or two, it's sick. You do it, you generally do better. You're so busy focusing on other shit that you're like, I just need to get my work done, I just need to get my coach.
But just hurry up and make millions so you can buy a GTR and then I can borrow it for a weekend, innit?
I still think, though, depending on how much other shit you got going on in your life, putting yourself through a prep might not be the most productive because it's going to harm everything else.
It's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Like, those people who jump into preps to, like, when they're relationship issues or job problems, it never goes right. Because you can tunnel vision and shut all the noise out. I think the people who do the best in prep are where the actual life around them is stable. Does that mean when everything's in the right place, everybody knows you've got a bit of money there, life's good, little ones are the right age, business is good. Then you go, right, I got 16 weeks here, which I can get from any point of fact I peeled out my brains. It's not going to have a negative effect on my life, and then shut it down for the rest of the year. You know?
It's why I wouldn't even consider prepping now. I have Aralina half the week. And my meals are all over the place when I've got it. I sometimes get 4, sometimes get 5, because I've got it for half the week. I'm not going to say to her, sorry, we've got to go home because I need a meal. Aralina, can you just sit here while I eat my chicken and rice? It takes time, you know what I mean? Like, I can't expect her to stop 5 times a day while I eat my meals. And she sleeps in my bed, she won't sleep in her own bed. It would be important. And as we all know, if you can't tick all of those boxes, prep's just shit.
And it gets in your head. It leaves your head rent free.
A lot of us,
you're just slagging yourself off all day.
I also think out of the lot of us, Riz is probably the only one that's got the most to gain out of a bodybuilding prep. Because, Dex got a job, you've got a job that doesn't actually intertwine with bodybuilding. Regardless of whether you bodybuild or not, it's not going to impact your income.
If anything, if I didn't bodybuild, my life would be I have more time to further that side of things, you know?
You'd have more money, mate.
Hilly's already got,
You'd have more money for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
He's already got he's gonna have clients no matter what because he's been doing it for however long. Riz, you on the other hand, you've got a business that's directly intertwined with bodybuilding. That matters. For me, it makes no difference whether I bodybuild or not. I'm still gonna make my money. You know what I mean?
but he's also assembled the ultimate team of Avengers, and I think that's what you've done really well in the sense of that carries the brand enough so that role and responsibility isn't on your own head.
Yeah.
My goal is ever so simple. I will do 2 more years of this shit, and then I'm finished. I bet he said that to me when he was 30 years old.
And then what? And then what?
And then I'm done.
No more competing. Fuck that shit.
I've always said.
I thought you meant the business.
I've always said I still compete because it doesn't really change my life much. And because of my stomach, I eat the same foods anyway. I get up and do cardio year round. I enjoy dieting. I'm shit, and
you're fucking good at it. You're good at it. You're good at that bit.
I'm good at dieting. I'm a shit off-season bodybuilder. My digestive issues cause me problems anyway. I don't enjoy feeling full and feeling tired. I don't sleep a lot. I thrive off sleeping for 6 hours, 5 hours. I thrive off getting up in the morning. When I'm dieting, when I'm hungry, everything is better. When I'm trying to force food, so I can do a prep, no problems. And I'm 39 this year, for fuck's sake. I'm 40 next year, so I'll be able to do the over 40s.
And listen, right? There's nothing more sad than me looking at certain people on my Instagram, on my old Instagram, that I see that I knew 10 years ago, and they were literally just living for bodybuilding, and they're still stuck in that. But they're no further than they were back then.
None of us are those people, and I look at those people, and I feel sorry for them as well, Chaz. But none of us are ever going to be those people.
No. But I look at these people and I'm like, wake up. Fucking wake up. You're broke. You've got fuck all going on for yourself other than this bodybuilding shit that you basically do. You can't even fucking win a show. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Get your fucking life together, you can't, because...
You can't.
But it's true, bro. I look at these people and I'm like, if you are still spinning your wheels, you can't even fucking barely win a regional fucking show... Fucking go and do something else. Do you know what I mean? Because
if I win a regional at the PCA, that would be to me like.
But they're not even young, bro. They're not even young guys. They're like guys in their like mid-30s that get into like 40. I'm like, fucking wake up.
I want an over 40s win, an over 50s win, and then I've won an open, an over 40s, and an over 50s.
I just want us all to do like a European show and get fucking weird afterwards and do a lads' holiday. That's all I want to do.
Therefore, I'm in for that.
Do you know what I think people need to realise as well? Yeah. A lot of bodybuilders who do very, very well, they do better on later on in their life because they'll have their whole life set up here.
Sets a precedent,
30, they'll be like, right, I got my money, got my house, got my missus, I got my kid, I got my pets, whatever. Yeah?
A lot of them don't, though. A lot of them still got fuck all because they're just too focused, probably putting all of their fucking bodybuilding expenses on a fucking credit card.
Yeah, but
I think when you're very good at bodybuilding, so when you're the elite, I think you have the ability. So I'm not talking about the guy you're talking about, Chaz, the 40-year-old who can't win a PCA show. I'm talking about the people who do very well, get a pro card and are successful at bodybuilding. I think they go on to live successful lives because they can apply that logic to anything else that they do.
No, I don't know. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about like regular fucking people that we see in the gym all the time or we see on Instagram all the time that are still in the same spot that they were 10 years ago.
Yeah. But they're not
talking about pro-level people here.
Yeah, those people are idiots.
We're talking about wannabe bodybuilders that are like wannabe pros, you know what I mean? Yeah. And even if, let's say by chance they do turn pro, they never get anywhere.
No, exactly.
But I think that's in all walks in life. Like, I look back 10 years ago, and like, no offense, I see some guys that I used to chill with still doing the same shit. I'm like, bro, you are 30, bro, and you're still shotting a 10 bud. Are you a dick?
Yeah.
Bro, literally, I think to myself, you are a knob, mate. Yeah, but people, they're so stuck in the cycle. Do you know what I mean? They're stuck in that cycle.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere. It's in every walk of life. You always get the same thing.
Bro, I think some bodybuilders who are younger. Hilly's always baff on about this to me. I used to this guy chatting shit to me. Yeah, he said to me, "Oh, you need to build your foundations in place. You can be a good bodybuilder. Build the foundations." And I said to myself, "This guy chats shit, man. I'm gonna be a sick bodybuilder." Yeah, and I realized after all the years that man was right. Build the foundations.
Now you've got your foundations. Do what the fuck you like.
Get some savings, and then do what you want. And by that chance, I guarantee you won't have the same hunger for it anyway because you've got other shit going on.
Right, is that us done? Because I'm hungry and I'm tired.
Yeah, and I got like 12% back.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody.